Hi, I'm Jana, and this is a very special Real Mom car tour. This is the 2025 Genesis GV80.
If you're new here, I'm glad you found me. Hi, I'm Jana, and I give Real Mom car tours. I am a boy mom, auto enthusiast, and I'm an Aquarius, which means my life and sometimes these tours are a little bit chaotic. So buckle up and let's get back to it.
You have a ton of safety features on your GV80, and one of my favorites is your highway driving assist that I touched on earlier, and it has a hands-free driving function. And I want you to see this here. If you can tell, this is a camera that's going to watch your eyes to make sure that your attention is on the road. And I had light-ish colored gold sunglasses on today, and it still didn't give me any issues. I think if you had huge black glasses, you might get an alert. But as of now, I'm doing really well with this. So what it will do is monitor the fact that you are paying attention at the wheel. And if you're not, you will get an immediate alert up here that says, put your hands on the wheel, pay attention to the road, that sort of thing. I'm doing some highway driving, and I want to show you how to engage and use your adaptive cruise control. There's your button here, and it helps you set your distance. And I can see in my 12-inch head-up display, which is probably not something you can see with your camera, this button is going to adjust the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. So we have the choice of either 1, 2, 3, or 4 car lengths. So if you're more conservative, you have trust issues, you're gonna wanna use the 4 car lengths. If you like to live on the edge and take risks, 1 car length for you. So this is on, I'm going at the speed I would like to be at. And then the other thing I like to engage is this button here. And this is your lane centering button. So when you touch this button, you're gonna see a green steering wheel illuminated in your head-up display. It's gonna have your speed limit, what the speed limit for the nearest road sign is, and I'm gonna be able to take my hands off the wheel and kind of rest them in my lap. A couple of things that you should know. There are cameras in front of me that are watching my eyes or my face to make sure that I am watching the road. I believe they call it, and I'll have to double check this, but it's something like iris recognition, so that the vehicle knows if you are watching the road and if you are paying attention. And I will say that using hands-free driver assistance stuff, this is a great example of how you would want to use it. You're not taking out your laptop, you're not really eating a whole pizza. It's so that you can be more refreshed when you get to your destination, because my speed is taken care of, my lane centering is taken care of, and the car's driving for me. So my feet are not on the pedals, my hands are not on the steering wheel, and I am trusting the car. There's some really great safety features in the GV80, and I'll put a little box kind of on the screen so that I don't mess it up or not mention some of the important ones. I couldn't capture all of it, but I put about 500 miles on this GV80 over 2 days, and I never fatigued as I was driving. And the interface was really easy to use. I really enjoyed everything about this experience. And there's a couple things that I forgot to mention that I want to tell you right now because they're important. Genesis uses an upgraded electronically controlled suspension, which uses front cameras to read the road and the surface ahead of you, and it optimally controls your vehicle's suspension to give you a more comfortable ride, which is really intuitive, and honestly, it reminds me of AI technology because it's so smart. It can tell if there's potholes or different kinds of terrain ahead of you, and it, tweaks your suspension so that you don't even notice the change in terrain. And I think it's incredible. I felt every bit of it, especially when I was trying to avoid an obstruction in the road, and I swerved, and I was probably going 60 miles an hour, and I was glued to the road, thanks in large part to the all-wheel drive, but also the stability control was just unbelievable. This car also has a crosswind stability control, and that uses partial braking and steering torque to improve high-speed driving stability at high winds. And that's a mouthful, and I'm reading that. But basically, it just means you have a lot of stability control even when you're going a high speed, which means you have a lot of high winds around the car. So the other thing that's really important that I don't think I touched on very much is that the cabin is incredibly quiet, and they achieve that with insulation used all over the vehicle, especially the door glass, and there's soundproof materials even in the back in the hatch area to keep every seat really quiet. And it has active noise canceling
that puts the road noise through the speaker system somehow, and that's honestly really above my pay grade to explain how it happens. But the noise gets moved through other places and then refiltered and then put back in the cabin in a noise cancellation process that is really effective, because you can't hear anything at the wheel. And that's one of my pet peeves in life, is driving a car and having a lot of road noise. And with the price point like this, you get some amenities like that insulation at a lower price point on a $35,000 to $45,000 vehicle. That's added cost to insulate and to put the upgraded glass and insulation in to make the cabin quiet. So I'm getting in the weeds on this, but truly, all the drives you're seeing here on this B-roll footage are drives I did. Our camera guys, there were some videographers there, and they took the same drive we took just to get this footage. So this is really accurate about what kind of surfaces we drove over, and it really is a beautiful car. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have a couple more things to say in real time, so let's get back to it. I think when you get into a Genesis, any Genesis, but especially a GV80, you're in a luxury vehicle. It feels different. It feels more premium. From the Napa leather interiors, my steering wheel, this leather wrap steering wheel, has like a thicker girth. It feels really good in my hands. It's heated. My seats are both heated and ventilated. There's also an ergo motion setting, which means it massages my back, which means you don't fatigue as much when you're in the driver's seat. The passengers in the back seat have very similar amenities. They are not missing any luxury by riding in the back. One of the things with the handling in the GV80, it's always been great. It's even better. The suspension and everything about how this car handles is supreme. It feels really, really good. It's really capable. It's all-wheel drive. But I was going down this 2-lane road a few minutes ago, and there was a huge pothole in the road, and I was looking at it, I was thinking, this is not my car. So I kind of jerked the wheel to get around it really quickly, and I apologized to my camera woman. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. She was like, I didn't even feel it. What are you talking about? And any other car, we would have whipped all over the road. It would have been a rough transition, but this is so smooth. A couple of things you need to know. For 2025, you're gonna have 2 engine choices. You're gonna have a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder that's gonna make 300 horsepower, or the one I prefer is a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6 that's gonna make 375 horsepower. I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of the 2025 Genesis GV80. I know I've really enjoyed driving it this week. The things you need to know: it's gonna start in the high 50s for your standard trim level and top out at around $80,000. You have 2 engines to choose from, and you have a plethora of amenities inside your cabin. If you enjoyed this tour, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, ask me those and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you want to see more fun or family car reviews, follow Real Mom Car Tours. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and I even have a website at realmomcartours.com. So thanks for watching. This is part 2 of the GV80. So if you liked it, go back and get a lot more detail in a 20-minute tour now live on my YouTube channel.